Hello, it's Real Swim Cheesy back at it. You know how it goes. I'm here to do another arcade breakdown. This time it'll be a Goldlewis Dickinson's. So yeah. First thing I want to mention before we get started is I just wanted to shout out my buddy Side Smasher X, like my best friend. He's really talented. He got 33rd at Frosty Faust, and that was our first major that we went to. So again, you may recognize his name from some of the previous videos, but shout out to him for the gameplay. Hope you all enjoy that. And yeah, like I said, let's just jump right into it. And the first thing that we see with this is Goldlewis just out, scouting, Nagoriyuki, and Giovanna's also kind of hunting him down.
Who, me? I'm on a business trip, yeah. Boy, so busy.
Can the bullshit. I think I know exactly why you're here. Stop chasing the Nightless.
So you're gonna get in my way too, huh? First one there gets him. Later.
So yeah, I mean, they both want to just find him, probably hunt him down. Again, scouting, so Goldlewis actually wants to recruit him. This makes sense, again, seeing the strength that he displayed. And it kind of makes sense that Giovanna wants to see him again, right? Like, they had a fight, they had a brawl. It was, I mean, she beat him, and then she showed mercy, then he beat her, so it wasn't exactly a fair fight, and it makes sense that she probably wants to see him again. And again, they also probably both realized that Nagoriyuki was being manipulated by Chaos. So they both want to, take care of him, show him that, they're chill. But it makes sense, right? Because they do want more heavy hitters on their side. I mean, if you look at the United States right now, their military, all they really got is what? Goldlewis, Giovanna, compared to like Capital Valyria, right? They got hella heavy hitters, but yeah. And we're gonna kind of bounce around quite a bit for this arcade, just because it's a pretty simple one, but it sends some good messages and yeah, shares some good themes throughout all of them. But here in this ending, we actually kind of get a bit more look into why Goldlewis is so determined to find Nagoriyuki and, scout him.
What are you really after, boss? Why even confront that thing?
He needs a friendly ear.
Huh.
First, he gets used and abused, and now people are chasing him down like he's Bigfoot or something. If nothing else, I want to be there for him. Show him he's got a place in our world.
I mean, it's really nice, right? Goldlewis just wants to be there for him, really. He wants to show him that he has a place in our world. And it seems like this is kind of like a thing that Goldlewis does a lot, right? He's the cryptic collector, right, as his alias, and he collects UMAs, unidentified mysterious animals, or, anything that isn't normal, and tries to maybe not only collect them and use them, right, but also maybe ones that have a bit more sentience and, like, will and conscious. Maybe he helps to give them a place in the world, right? I'm sure, just like Nagoriyuki and a lot of these UMAs, they feel alienated. They feel like they don't have a place. So it's really cool to see that, like, nicer side of Goldlewis of, like, I want to take these people in and they got a place, in the world too. And so, other than just being a cool hobby, because I'm sure there's, like, weird aliens, right? Like the one in the coffin's a little interesting too, but I'm sure there's some weird aliens too. But, and again, you also got to realize Nagoriyuki is a vampire, so that probably, like, really, gets Goldlewis going. We don't know if he's actually collected vampires before, right? So, yeah, and here actually, like, Giovanna basically kind of confirms that whatever's in Goldlewis's coffin probably has more sentience and is much more of a partner to Goldlewis than, just a normal alien or tool.
That too brazen for a government man?
Does this have something to do with whatever's in that coffin?
So yeah, like she says, his reaction to, what's in the coffin suggests that maybe he's more connected to it. Maybe it is like the one that kind of has the most sentience. Maybe he's been with it the longest. Maybe he feels for it the most, relates to it the most. We're not really sure entirely, right? But, again, it's just like a sweet little thing. I hope we do at some point get to see more of, like, these aliens that Goldlewis is, has taken in and taken care of. But no, we'll have to see on that more later, right? And so, this scouting was probably also just, again, for Goldlewis, not only to, like, scout and try to recruit Nagoriyuki, but feel out if he was, a good person, a good fit, if he actually was, like, a vampire, or if he was more, humane. And, if just at the end of the day, if Nagoriyuki really needed somewhere to stay. Because, again, that's the vibe you kind of get from this, as we'll see intersect from the level 9 ending of just, he just wants to offer him a place to live, He even says in, like, that past one, right, like, is that too, brazen for a government man? All he wants to do is help people, and it's just really sweet, right? Because that he's, like, the top guy, Like, even in the story mode, we saw how much people respect and trust Goldlewis, and we can see why, just how he treats everybody with so much kindness, no matter who you are. Look at even Giovanna. In the story, we saw like a bunch of people who treat her with like disrespect, be like, you're lazy, we don't pay, pay to take naps. Even in here, we'll talk about her getting bullied a bit, but again, Goldlewis has taken her under his wing, and trying to, make the best out of her, trying to make sure that she can reach that potential that he knows that she has. But anyways, let's just get into the level 9 ending, right? Because that's always one of the most fun and interesting ones.
Enough. Further fighting is pointless.
Yeah, you proved your point. Forget capturing you. Your heart ain't that of a vampire. Just a human. And I don't collect humans.
Just a human, you say? You're one bold man, you know that?
Your heart ain't that of a vampire, just a human. Nagoriyuki isn't some creature to be collected. He's someone. He's a person. He's a human. Nagoriyuki can view himself as a monster all he wants, but, in his heart, he's a human. And of course, it makes sense given that, he was born a human and became a vampire. So even, like, we don't know everything with Slayer yet, but Slayer might have been born like a full vampire, but of course he acts pretty human too. But yeah, and Goldlewis, again, he's very interested in collecting like these cryptic beings, these mysterious, unidentified organisms. But at the end of the day, he kind of realized, and I think he basically confirmed in this fight in Nagoriyuki, you're not a monster. You're not, an unidentified thing. You're a human. And at the end of the day, I think what he really wanted to kind of get the message to Nago, and in probably the best way that he felt he could, tell Nagoriyuki this, is you're not a vampire. You're a human. Yes, you are, physically a vampire, but you need to stop viewing yourself as a vampire and a monster. And if you come, stay with us, that's how we're going to treat you. We're not going to treat you as some, weird thing. We're going to treat you just like a human. And that's a really nice offer to bring to Nagoriyuki. And of course, in like all the endings, he kind of, basically says like, nah, I don't think I'll go with you, but yeah, it's just a nice thing to know that you have people out there like that. And again, I think this really gives us a good insight into who Goldlewis is and why he's garnered so much popularity and support among the American people. And it's not just because of his strength, but also, again, he really takes a deep look at people and, not just people, literally anything weird, strange, mysterious, and says, you know what, I want to give that person a home. I want to give that person somewhere to stay, and I want to treat them with respect and dignity. And that's exactly what he does to Nagoriyuki. So again, very impressive and very cool. But on to the more humor side, because there's a lot of humor in this too. Is a lot with Giovanna, right? We actually could see Giovanna cuss quite a bit in these two clips.
Give him a good kick in the ass for me, though. Hi, ready to get bitch slapped?
So that's a lot of fun. I mean, it fits her well, right? And it's just silly to see. And Giovanna also gets bullied a lot by not just Goldlewis, but also Nagoriyuki for kind of acting, and they both kind of view her as a dog almost. And I think that's kind of ties into why Goldlewis has taken her under her wing, as a lot of people view her, because she has that spirit animal, as something else. And actually, I'll probably touch on this in a later video too, that I might make like a little conspiracy, but in the GG glossary, it's actually stated under homunculuses that, Abba, who's an old character, is the only homunculus that we've seen ... so far, which is super suspicious. And it could also be that Giovanna is actually a homunculus, right? And maybe she got part of her soul tied to this dog. I know that's kind of far out there, but I think it would make a lot of sense, again, seeing everything that we see here, that, again, Giovanna is maybe some mysterious creature that, Goldlewis has helped to kind of give a place in the world. But anyways, let's just move on to, this Giovanna getting bullied montage.
Heel, Giovanna. Outside of the unruly hunting dog, you mean?
You've insufficiently trained your hunting dog.
Hear that, boss? He's calling you a bad dog trainer. Ouch.
You're the one he's calling a dog.
Boss, are you seriously trying to tame this guy?
Sure. He'd be better behaved than you are.
I refuse to become a dog of any government.
But yeah, anyways, the only really other funny thing is Nagoriyuki, refers to Goldlewis as like a coffin maker, but I don't know what that is. But yeah, overall, this is a very funny arcade for sure. Had a cute little story, but yeah, nothing too crazy. And sadly, Nagoriyuki didn't really seem like he wanted to go with Giovanna and Goldlewis, which, you know, canonically makes sense. It does sound like he's probably going to go with, again, Chip and Anji, but, you know, again, it is really sweet that Goldlewis and Giovanna wanted to go out of their way to, you know, say, hey, we want to give you a place to stay if you ever need it. And again, Goldlewis made it, like, obviously he said, like, you don't have to come with us if you don't want. So again, really great. Again, if you like Goldlewis, I'd recommend you check it out. And yeah, no, I'll be sure to upload the next couple of these. And hey, I really appreciate you guys watching these. Be sure to take care and love you all a lot.